right. Well, we're back again. This is Laura here at KubeCon EU 2023, and I am here today with two of my best friends. Let me first introduce JJ. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello. My name is JJ Asghar. I also go by J Dizzle. No, I really don't.
You're already starting.
Yeah, I'm already starting.
Nice.
We're gonna have some fun here.
Yes.
But yes, thank you for having me.
Yeehaw. This should be a lot of fun. And then I also have Jeremy. Jeremy, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Jeremy Tanner, based out of Austin, Texas, and at KubeCon for Tillscale.
Yeehaw, right? We're going to have a lot of fun today. So this conversation, we're probably going to talk about a ton of different things, but let's first talk about, it is the second day of KubeCon EU. What cool stuff have you seen so far? Like, was your favorite tech that you've seen, or if you just want to call out some awesome swag, that also counts. But just tell me a little bit about your experience so far with KubeCon EU. Whoever wants to go first.
Oh, so for me, it's day 6 of KubeCon.
That's true.
It started with Cloud Native Rejects.
Right.
And so that's a nice, easy entry into the KubeCon week. So I suppose to expand for folks who are unfamiliar with the event, there are hundreds of KubeCon speakers, I believe, but only about 10 to 15% of talk submissions get accepted. And so out of all the rejected ones, you have a second chance to give it at the pre-conference.
Right.
And has very much the feel of like a comedy club where folks are sort of working the thing out and then talk with them afterwards. Fewer people, a little less going on, eases you into the week really nicely.
Yeah.
I got rejected from rejects.
Oh.
The double no.
Yeah, it hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, JJ.
But no, actually, what I thought was really neat about KubeCon EU this year, which is 2023. Yeah,
Yes,
2023.
I know.
Well,
I know.
And for the future, us listening to this, if you've forgotten, it's sold out.
It did.
It's sold out. So they actually had to open up a bunch more tickets, and it feels like it's sold out. There's a lot of people here compared to Detroit, KubeCon NA 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So and also it's really weird, the conversations I've been having with people here, there's so much more not open source people, they're actual business people. It's like, at least the conversations I'm having are people want to buy software here compared to when I was in NA. It's a bunch of open source nerds trying to figure out how to do cool open source stuff, which is a complete paradigm switch. And I'm really curious to see how NA 2023, which is Chicago, is going to play out now because of the drive to actually build core businesses off of Cloud Native.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty interesting.
Kubernetes has maybe crossed some sort of chasm.
Hey,
is 2023 the year of Kubernetes on the desktop?
Very good.
Oh, here we go.
There it is.
Yeah, we're going to get started now. I was going to say everything ends up on Kubernetes in the end.
That's true.
It's just kind of how it works right now. Everything ends up on Kubernetes in the end. So I also went to Rejects. And when I landed, I went to Rejects, and then I went to Contributor Summit, and then here I am at this event. And I would say that I saw cool stuff, but I actually have honestly been at the booth because we have had a lot of people going after swag.
Yeah.
And it's just been busy constantly, which I just find fascinating because normally, like, you get that big rush, and then everybody wants to chill out. They want to talk open source, like you were saying. They want to do all kinds of different things. And this is just like, what just happened? I don't even know.
And Europeans seem to take swag in a completely different direction than at least the Americans and Shanghai when I went there, where it seems like in America when we give out swag. I mean, I didn't actually say I work for IBM. It's a small startup that people may have heard of before.
Yeah, those tiny little startups.
It's not a tiny startup, and we have to budget in quite a bit of money for swag, and we brought umbrellas and T-shirts. Well, the first day here was basically the sun was coming down like it does in Austin, Texas, where we were all sweating and dying because we're in Europe and they don't have air conditioning for some odd reason. So none of our umbrellas disappeared, but our T-shirts did. And it seems this is a consistent thing. T-shirts people are just eating up T-shirts like crazy here. Do Europeans just not wear T-shirts? I don't understand. I'm very confused.
I mean, like, I guess back in North America, like, people only do socks, right? Like, they want socks, they want this, they want that. But here it's like T-shirts suddenly are back.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it.
I think companies started printing on good blanks.
Yeah, that would do it.
For the longest time, there was so many companies. Oh no, we need 1,000 T-shirts, and they can be printed on this burlap that doesn't fold. Great.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's the best logo in the world.
Yeah.
Datadog finally won that battle. Convinced us all to finally get good T-shirts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's true. And shout out to Datadog. Those shirts are awesome.
Their shirts are awesome, but I haven't gotten one yet.
Why are you in this booth now? You should go get one.
Do they have any? I don't think there's any left. You got to think about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but let's talk a little bit about tech, because I mean, I guess
T-shirts are tech. T-shirts are tech.
T-shirts
That's
can kind of be
wearable
tech.
technology.
Yeah.
Privacy enhancing, privacy filter.
There you go.
Yeah, I think we're getting some feedback from somebody's phone, so we'll just kind of put those maybe somewhere, and we'll see if that maybe helps it a little bit. Anyway, so sorry for those of you listening. But yeah, I guess we probably should talk a little bit about tech. 'Cause we are at a tech conference.
Mm-hmm.
What was the coolest tech thing that you've seen so far?
So I've been told that so if you haven't, again, this is for our future selves. Knative is a really big thing. Has always been a big thing, but it had some stagnation.
Yeah.
I didn't actually hear the announcement this morning because I was sleeping because I am
Reasons.
exhausted. But there was a really huge announcement about Knative and a real big investment back into it, which is actually really interesting when you start looking at it at a macro scale. For people who don't know, Knative is a platform to run serverless applications on Kubernetes inside your own Kubernetes cluster. So think of Lambda or Code Engine. Just saying, maybe you should check out Code Engine. No,
IBM.
yeah.
JJ.
I had to throw it in there.
JJ.
But in all seriousness, there are a lot of enterprises out there that need, behind their firewall, in their own environment, a way to run serverless functions, because scaling down to zero is important.
Right.
So if the community is starting to rally back around Knative, it's a pretty big deal.
I'm going to bounce to Jeremy. Like, what kind of cool techs have you seen?
Cool tech. I'm trying to think of even like before I got here, travel tech. Not so much on the here's the thing you can buy now, but contactless payment being a thing, not having to touch things, and that being everywhere. U.S. it feels like there's still so much more of
More swiping.
more swiping, and
Swiper,
here
no
like,
swiping.
like pay with the card near it, pay with the phone, pay with the watch. So getting onto the train from the airport is easy enough.
Right.
And getting that ticket. This place is comfy. But what sort of tech? Bicycles and bicycle infrastructure, which is very old tech, but have been very much enjoyed.
Right. That makes sense.
And then without turning things completely to mine, my tech. So started at Tailscale since the last KubeCon.
Yeah.
And have been very much enjoying the ESO secure connections. So
Oh, yeah.
my most of my machines are at home, and I didn't carry them with me, and so I can still easily get back to where they are in Texas. But when wanting a VPN for using our public Wi-Fi here, great. There's plenty of companies that have Amsterdam data centers that get you a VM for 14, 15 US cents per day, and it's quick enough to set up. You just drop your bash and your cloud in it.
Yeah. There you go.
You have the client on all your devices already. Perfect.
Yeah.
Was rolling OpenVPN into Docker containers before, which is quick, but 20 minutes quick instead of 60 seconds quick.
Right. Very cool. Very nice.
So I actually do now I've got you cornered in this.
Here we go.
I am genuinely curious.
No, let's hear it.
Right. Okay. So we're at KubeCon.
Yes.
Right. Obviously. And the customers I talk to they always are going back and forth between the cloud and their own data center. Tailscale allows us to bridge that gap. If I was a customer and I was like, hey, I need a secure way to do my Tailscale or my VPNs of my clusters, where do you tell them to put the VPN? Do you put it at the node level? Do you put it at the data center level? Do you put it at the container level? Like, where is your opinion from Tailscale's team? Uh-oh, I stumped him.
I was going to say,
I stumped him.
is the answer like just basically yes?
Oh, the answer is yes. The answer is it depends.
Of course.
Yes.
The product answer is enable folks to do the thing that they wanted to do anyway, and so
Right.
all of those are valid answers depending on what's pre-existing,
Okay.
because everyone has their own unique and terrible pile of.
Thanks, Penguin. You just completely. I was leaving an open-ended question for you, and you just stumped all over.
Oh. Nice.
But well, just to play off of that more, we all have the service meshes out there now. Like, people are starting to look into service mesh and things like that.
Yeah.
I know from IBM's standpoint, we invest a lot of time and effort into Istio, right?
Okay.
Istio is our bread and butter when it comes to service mesh. Granted, most of the customers we talk to aren't mature enough yet to use service mesh. But I was trying to allude to the question about why would you want to run Tailscale on each one of your containers when you could just do it from a node level? So then you have all your nodes talking to one another, and the control plane is just a scheduler, and then you're interacting, through the nodes. So things can still talk to one another. You can get your database or whatever. Because don't run your database in Kubernetes. Just don't do it. But you see where I'm kind of going with that. Like, in my mind, that architecture kind of makes sense. But no one's told me I'm wrong. But at the same time, I don't think I'm right. So I don't know what. I don't
Questions.
know what, exactly.
Many questions.
What do I do?
Teach us, Jeremy.
Yes.
You can be connected to different. So I'm trying to think of some of the terrible things that I've built.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically how we want to know. Like, what terrible things have you built and what works?
So at home, machine on one network, one tailnet, I suppose. And so a machine, node, container, whatever,
Yeah.
can only be connected to one tailnet at a time. It has to switch over to others. But a container can be on a machine that is on a, and so you can have.
It's all IP tables, right?
Wait. Is
all
this
the
like
way
DNS all the way down?
It is.
Oh, no. It's always DNS.
So depending on if you want to things on different networks, that may be a reason. But yeah, you can go machine.
Okay.
Well, there's the answer.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Uh,
Yeah. We're all kind of just like, hey, we're near the end of KubeCon. I think all of
Yeah.
us are kind of starting to wash out. So,
Well, actually, believe it or not,
Oh, dear.
in 45 minutes, I'm going to be running something called an Artemis game. Yeah.
what are you doing? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about what we're here doing at
Yeah.
KubeCon. All right. Let's hear it. What's this Artemis game?
All right. Well, first of all, I'm actually here doing my real job, but
Are you now?
somehow, it's amazing when you decide to talk to the right person at the right time. I got IBM to sponsor my ability to run an Artemis game, which, if you don't know what it is, Artemis is a spaceship simulator where you basically play out Star Trek together in essence, a conference room or your living room or whatever. So I'm actually looking at the booth or the private room that I'll be running it. The idea is for nerds to come together and basically get to play Star Trek. But what's really neat is that, if you don't know, Fridays are usually dead days for KubeCon. All the executives have left. Most of the people who really are trying to be here, so it's all the nerds left. Well, there's a lot of presentation booths around here. IBM's famous for having a really, really big screen.
Yes.
I've been informed on Friday afternoon I can run my Artemis game on that
dear.
big screen. So
Oh.
you're going to have nerds screaming at each other.
Okay. I have to ask. Is this running on Kubernetes?
Actually,
Actually.
we have actually gotten it working on Kubernetes before.
JJ.
Yes. That was in a previous life before I was at IBM. But it was one of my justifications for making it happen. But the interesting part is and there is an actual serious reason for doing this. When we all join open source projects, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how to start or what to do or what their role is.
Mm-hmm.
And this game actually forces you to take a role that you normally wouldn't be comfortable with.
Right.
And it's a perfect microcosm of an open source project. Somebody has to be the captain. Somebody has to be the helmsman. Somebody has to be the weapons officer. Somebody has to come in and take that responsibility. And it's a perfect way. Then all of a sudden you have to communicate because nobody has all the same information.
Right.
Which is part of the game.
Right.
And then you realize, wait a second, this is what I've been doing with my open source projects all along. I mean, I had to talk to the drum major, if you will, to make that stuff happen.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Sounds like it's like werewolf, but nobody dies.
Oh.
Well, everybody succeeds or
Everybody dies.
Oh, you win or
One or
you
the
lose
other.
the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. All right. That's kind of fun.
And you can have multiple ships also.
Oh no.
You can actually have like fleets fighting each other. You start with
There-
just 5 people.
You do know there's a Kubernetes joke in here
Oh,
somewhere.
yes. Oh, yes.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
NA, I'm going to try to get multiple ships going. And I'm going to get admiral@ibm.com as my email address. Because I'll be able to control multiple ships.
You're suddenly an admiral, and therefore, I have to. We'll have to figure out how this is Kubernetes at some point.
Oh, yeah.
You have to give out like the ship's wheels,
Yes.
or something, and really kind of go at that. I want stickers, JJ.
I'll make them. Oh,
Okay.
actually, hold on. No, I get in a lot of trouble when I do stuff like that.
Make stickers anyway.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Better to ask forgiveness than permission.
That is so true.
Send this podcast upstream and say like, look, people are asking for stickers
Yes.
of the Artemis game.
I love
But
it.
Are the official rules somewhere, or is there like a thing that you buy, or devices? Like, what is the what is the format of the game?
For Artemis?
Yes.
Oh, I completely went over that. I missed that. I'm sorry. Basically, I got IBM to get me 6 laptops, or 5 laptops, and then we have a private room up there, and there's a screen in there, and we all have a little Wi-Fi network, and we all have the laptops in front of us with the different control mechanisms, and you just play off of those laptops with a mouse.
So wait, you didn't go to Jeremy to ask for a network?
Well, actually, it turns out I have a little wireless network that I just have locally because the Wi-Fi here
That's fair.
is conference Wi-Fi. I never use conference Wi-Fi to do anything other than
That's true.
So you're having a
don't use conference Wi-Fi.
so you're having a Star Trek LAN party.
Yes, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yes. That's actually a much easier way to describe everything I just said. Nice. Thank you, Penguin.
I was going to say, so this basically highlights something about KubeCon. There is KubeCon, the conference. There's KubeCon, the sponsor rooms.
Right.
And then there is the underground KubeCon
Ah, yes.
that has so many other things going on. We have Cloud Native Rejects, we have Contributor Summit, but then we have stuff like the Artemis game, or, like people wandering around with pins or stickers, and they're just kind of like finding people who are like-minded, right? So I guess, first things first, I know there's no booth for Tailscale. Are you
Really?
here doing an underground, part of KubeCon that I don't know about? Now I want to know.
Illegal promotion? Absolutely not.
Yes, there we go. All right.
No, we'll be a sponsor of North America in
Yeah.
Chicago in November, and so
And you were sponsoring Rejects.
yes.
So that's really why you were here, is because you were sponsoring Rejects, so it makes sense just to keep coming on to KubeCon.
They were rejected from sponsoring.
Oh.
Yeah, so it makes sense to do KubeCon also, and then a lot of the folks that we work with on other initiatives during the year,
Yeah.
other events are here. It's easy. It's an easy way to meet with tens or hundreds of folks. So
Yeah, makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
we glossed over earlier, but in the first keynote, they said it was 10,000 people.
I know.
for in person.
10,000 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many the plus is, but
I don't
10,000 is
either.
already a lot.
Yeah, I know. This is starting to feel like a certain thing that I probably can't actually still say on YouTube.
Yeah,
Levels. Because, if you say that on YouTube, they go and
we do. Or
check everything and put like a content warning,
Mhm.
or at least they used to. So,
Or give you, I guess, like mid-roll ivermectin ads. But that's-
Yeah. No, I get a yellow card, and it's about right. So this is really starting to feel like we're back to the crazy chaos. I'm a little nervous about Chicago, to be honest.
I really think it's going to be completely. I mean, obviously, European and American audiences are completely different vibes, but I really do think it's going to be. Okay. So if you have future selves, well, you know this already, but we just found out. I think this morning? Question mark. EU next year is going to be in Paris.
Yesterday, we found that out.
Yesterday? Is that really yesterday?
Yes,
Jesus.
it was, JJ.
Okay. Anyway, I really thought that was this morning.
Paris.
Yes.
Yes.
So if we already maxed out at 10,000 people here in Amsterdam, or 1,500 people in Amsterdam, whatever the number was.
10,000.
10,000. Thank you.
Plus.
In Amsterdam, I can only imagine how expensive it's going to be for Paris next year, because Paris is significantly more expensive than Amsterdam. Not to mention also the budgeting of we're in basically a aircraft hangar,
Yeah,
right?
that's what it feels like.
It really does. But they don't have like anything like this in the core of Paris, right? Like it's all relatively significantly smaller. Am I wrong?
I don't know Paris well enough, but I would think that we would be probably out in some warehouse district. Paris has to have conferences. There's kind of-
Well, I mean, I went there for an OpenStack summit, and it was about ish size, ish size. But if they're expecting you to get bigger, that's a lot more. That the logistics are getting worse and worse, right? Like,
Right.
we're all also conference organizers. We know the pain of this stuff,
Yes.
And-
Yes, we do.
and like, there's levels that you start getting to, and then I know IBM spends a lot of money in sponsoring this thing to get the booths and all that stuff to happen. Like, I'm really starting to worry them. Like, it's good to see the adoption. It's good to see the progress. But there's a point where companies can't afford this stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden our community gets hurt because we can't bring people into the conference. Do you see what kind of going with this?
Are you saying, like, have we hit peak KubeCon?
Maybe.
Maybe. Do you think that's why we're moving to like Kubernetes community days more to try to like balance the load across many? I don't know. It's an interesting question because yes, we all are conference organizers in some way, shape, or form, right? And the amount of work that goes into a conference like this, something this big, and the amount of chasing down sponsors and sponsors pulling out at the last minute, speakers pulling out at the last minute, all of that kind of stuff. Like, I can't imagine trying to do this and trying to make it work and still keeping some kind of like intimacy.
Yeah.
So that you like are engaged.
Yeah, I think we're also thinking of the way that things were, and more like the capitalism happens, right? And
Right.
so you're thinking of like open source community, but over time it becomes large corporations wearing an open source community trench coat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Basically.
And one thing about like how are my favorite talks going to be there? Like, there's always going to be a large pile of money to
Yeah.
Right.
interest people in purchasing your enterprise solutions.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the thing that you remember
That's true.
from years ago. But the wheels of business will absolutely keep on turning.
I will say though, there is a limit that all companies can afford to sponsor stuff, right?
Sure.
Like if you're going to start asking for, I'm just throwing random numbers out there. If this year only cost $1,000, I know it definitely does not just cost $1,000 to sponsor KubeCon, but let's say it cost $1,000,
Okay.
and then next year it's going to be like, oh well, we only have so much booth space, and it's going to cost $100,000. That is a massive jump in expense,
Right.
cost, and like. It's going to be really hard for some companies out there. Like I'm looking at some of the companies out right now, and I know for a fact a lot of them want to grow. They want to engage with this audience more, but they will not be able to afford that $10,000 or
Right.
$100,000 jump.
Yeah.
gonna
If
be-
it goes up that high.
Yeah. Well, I mean, limited space, right? Like
Yeah.
it's again capitalism at its best and worst happening here.
Right. And isn't it true that if you have a CNCF membership, like you're pretty much guaranteed a spot? Like as long as you pay for it?
It depends.
It depends. So, okay, this is an it depends moment.
Yeah.
I don't really know the ins and outs of this part of sponsorship, but like I do know how much these booths cost, and it's quite a bit to just think about how much this is going into this. And I mean, frankly, I think about Paris, and right now, for those of you who don't know, Paris is kind of having a slight issue with trash pickup.
Everything.
I mean, because there are strikes, and I understand why. But at the same time, I'm thinking about just how much work that's going to be and how much that's going to cost and all of those things. It is going to be a very interesting year next year, especially when so many people have gotten a taste of KubeCon. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Expectations are going to be high.
Yeah?
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this is a great KubeCon. This
Yeah.
is one of the better ones that I've been to. And I really haven't left the expo hall. I've just been engaging with people I know. But the attitude, the conversations are all extremely positive compared to what LA was,
Yeah.
right? Like just that one alone, this is already so much better. And now my expectations are going to personally be quite high. And now we're going to see how disappointed I'll be.
Yeah. I think the one thing I just keep thinking about is as long as we don't end up somewhere like San Diego where
That's true.
the decibel level on the sponsor floor was like, it was 80 decibels.
Yeah.
Somebody measured it and it was like scary. Can't hear anything for days.
So let's
Anyway.
well, I do want to ask about you mentioned KCD, and for transparency's sake, yes, we've engaged in that space before. Do you think that world will work? The idea of having regional Kubernetes KubeCons?
Oh.
Do you think so? Like,
Okay.
I'm still going back and forth on it myself.
So here's my take. I think it's an interesting idea. I do think the DevOps Days model works because if you don't know, for people who are listening, the Kubernetes Community Days model is actually modeled off of DevOps Days, which is a international loose, I want to say it's like a loose federation of conferences. We have a rough idea. We have a global organizer team that pretty much maintains our website, and the repo for that provides a couple of ground rules and is there for kind of help if you need it. And organizes like a biannual organizer summit every other year. That was a very organic build of a conference setup, community conference. Kubernetes Community Days, they are kind of taking that model and trying to push it from more of a centralized location. I don't know how well that's going to work. I think people are going to be really excited about it. I'm curious to see how long it lasts.
Okay.
And how much it's going to become almost compulsory.
Oh, interesting.
With the idea of like, oh, well, if you wanted to come and do things, we're going to push you more towards Kubernetes Community Days. KubeCon is like the big gem.
Yeah.
But lots of people maybe no longer will be able to afford it. And then we're going to push towards Kubernetes Community Days to really engage the community. Will it grow the community? I don't know. That's the question for me. Like, is it going to bring more people to the projects? Is it going to bring more contributors? Or is it going to be just another venue for people to talk about what's going on, to sponsor and get money out? I don't know. I'm hopeful that it's going to be more about how do we get more people involved in the community, or how do we make it easier for people to get involved in the community. As someone who is trying to help, I would love to see that be the end goal, but I don't know. And I'm curious. It'll be a really interesting thing. So, do you know anything about it, Jeremy? Or because I mean, like JJ and I have been talking about this for Austin and for Texas in general for a couple years.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea started before the thing that just happened for 2 years. But, you know, I'd say all kinds of names for it. We have come up with all kinds of names, but I don't even know how strict the algorithm is. So anyway, never know. But yeah, so you haven't really heard about it?
No.
And that's surprising.
It's bothering.
That's surprising to me because you are really interconnected into the community. If you haven't heard about it, is it just a marketing thing?
Have heard about it and are aware of it, but it hasn't been something as to where I've
Engaged.
dug in,
Yeah.
engaged, or
Yeah.
So maybe that is a meaningful marker.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to sit here and talk with you both for like hours, I do have to cut us short because someone else is going to get in this podcast booth, and I'm waiting for someone to come by and just tell me it's time to wrap up. But anyway, one last question, one last thing. What is the one thing you want people to know about your presence here at KubeCon EU 2023? And whoever wants to start first. I don't know who can do it first. Oh, you guys finger on the nose first.
Nose
JJ,
goes.
it's your turn.
Well, I don't know the name of the ship that we're going to be flying quite yet, but it'll be good. And,
Okay.
Hopefully, if you are listening in the future, I will be doing my best to make sure that this happens at NA also. So
Okay.
look out for it.
North America. All right. Artemis 2023.
There you go.
All right. Jeremy?
I think track me down, track us, tailscale the corporate entity down at,
Yeah.
KubeCon NA in Chicago. Would be, I'd love to see folks who are listening to this at whatever point in the future,
Yeah.
at an event in the future. Because again, people here aren't going to hear this one.
Yeah, exactly. But in the future, come find either of them. My only thing, I guess, is we ran out of swag within like
That's
first-
a good thing. It's a
Oh,
very good thing.
man. But yeah, we ran out really, really fast. So if you want to come see all the cool swag that we're probably going to have in North America, you better get to the booth quickly. And hopefully my marketing person doesn't hear that because they're going to be really upset with me for really encouraging that. But anyway, so I'm Laura. This is KubeCon 2023.
Bye, everybody. It's JJ.
It's Jeremy. Bye for now.
And bye for now from KubeCon 2023. Thanks so much.